If you sold stocks, crypto, mutual funds, or real estate in 2025, you need to know about Form 8949. This is the form where you report every individual sale to the IRS, and getting the details right matters more than most people realize. Today I'm walking you through every part of Form 8949, step by step, so your return is accurate and you don't overpay. Form 8949 is officially called Sales and Other Dispositions of Capital Assets. You use it to report the details of each individual transaction, each stock trade, each crypto sale, each piece of real estate sold. Once you list all your transactions, the totals from Form 8949 transfer to Schedule D, which is the summary. Think of it this way, Form 8949 is the detail, Schedule D is the summary. The IRS uses both to verify that your reported gains and losses match what your broker or exchange reported. If there's a mismatch, you'll get a notice, and that's a headache you want to avoid. The first thing you'll notice on Form 8949 is the checkbox at the top of each part, box A, B, or C. These tell the IRS whether your broker reported the cost basis to them or not. Box A is for transactions where your broker sent the IRS a 1099-B or 1099-DEA with cost basis reported. This is the most common situation for stocks bought after 2011. Box B is for transactions where your broker reported proceeds to the IRS but did not include the cost basis. Box C is for any transactions not reported to the IRS at all. This includes sales from non-reporting brokers, foreign exchanges, or peer-to-peer transactions. You may need to complete multiple Form 8949s, one for each applicable box, and one for short-term and one for long-term. Now let's walk through completing the form row by row. In column A, describe the asset, for example, 10 shares of Apple Incorporated or 0.5 Bitcoin. In column B, enter the date you acquired it. In column C, enter the date you sold it. The holding period between these two dates determines whether it goes in Part 1 or Part 2. In column D, enter the proceeds, what you actually received from the sale, which your 1099-B or 1099-DA will show. In column E, enter your cost basis, what you originally paid, including commissions. Then column H is where you calculate the gain or loss, proceeds minus cost basis. If you have adjustments, and I'll explain those in a moment, column G is where they go. Short-term and long-term, these two categories determine how much tax you actually pay, so it's critical to get them right. Short-term gains are from assets you held for 1 year or less. They're taxed at your ordinary income rate, up to 37% in 2026. Long-term gains are from assets held more than 1 year. They qualify for the lower preferential rates, 0% if your taxable income is below $47,025 as a single filer, 15% up to $518,900, and 20% above that. The difference between short-term and long-term treatment on a $10,000 gain can easily be $1,000 to $3,000 in additional tax, so whether you hit that 1-year mark really does matter. Column G on Form 8949 is where adjustments go, and the wash sale adjustment is the most common one. Here's how wash sales work for stocks. If you sell a stock at a loss and buy the same or substantially identical stock within 30 days before or after the sale, the IRS disallows that loss. The disallowed amount goes in column G as a positive number, reducing your deductible loss. You'll also enter the code W in column F to indicate a wash sale adjustment. The disallowed loss isn't gone forever, it gets added to the cost basis of the replacement shares, so you'll eventually get the deduction when you sell those shares for good. Your broker should flag wash sales on your 1099-B, but always double-check. Once you've filled in every row on Form 8949, you total up column D, column E, column G, and column H at the bottom of each page. Those totals then transfer directly to Schedule D. The short-term totals from Part 1 of Form 8949 go to Part 1 of Schedule D. The long-term totals from Part 2 go to Part 2 of Schedule D. If you have multiple pages of Form 8949, say, one for Box A short-term and one for Box B short-term, you combine those totals before entering them on Schedule D. Schedule D then calculates your net capital gain or loss, which ultimately flows to line 7 of your Form 1040. Let me highlight the most common Form 8949 mistakes so you can avoid them. The first is mismatching proceeds. If your 1099-B shows $5,000 in proceeds and you enter $4,800, the IRS computer will catch it. Second is leaving cost basis blank when you actually know it. This causes the IRS to assume zero basis and tax your full proceeds as a gain. Third is putting short-term gains in Part 2 or vice versa. Holding period errors change your tax rate entirely. Fourth is forgetting to carry totals to Schedule D. And fifth is not filing Form 8949 at all and just entering a summary on Schedule D. That works only if you attach a substitute statement from your broker. Form 8949 is the foundation of accurate capital gains reporting. Get the details right here and Schedule D practically fills itself in. If you had a lot of transactions, tax software can import your 1099-B directly. Subscribe for more step-by-step tax guides every week.